some ambience.
Beautiful timing. Thanks, Dan. What's up? It's Dave from Metal Epidemic. I'm here in Glasgow with James from Tesseract. James, how you doing, my man?
I'm very good, thank you. Very
Nice.
pleased to be in Glasgow.
Yeah. You feeling? How you feeling? Your tiredness, has it kicked in yet, or?
Yeah, I kind of. This is the second to last show of a 6-week tour, so definitely looking at the end in sight. But the show's been so good, I can't complain at all, and I'm very excited to play this evening.
Nice. Do you get up to much today? Do you go out much during the day, or do you just kind of like sleep and?
I think sometimes if we're in like a city centre, I do try to do what we call a hot lap, where we can go and see some local sites. But unfortunately, we're about half an hour out of Glasgow, and there's nothing here. So today, I didn't do anything.
Nice. I don't know if you remember, but about 11 years ago, James, I'm going to get you to use your memory here.
Yeah.
I did my first ever band interview. First one. With Tesseract at Ivory Blacks.
Yes. Do
in
you know
Glasgow.
I think I do remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that was your first ever interview.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the first time I ever done anything like this.
Wow.
With you guys, and I think it was the Algorithm. I think was also on tour with you at that point as well.
Yeah. So Algorithm as a Chimp Spanner? Or was it just... No.
Algorithm
one.
and Enoki in Theory.
Enoki, that was it. Good memory. Yeah.
But that was it. That was like first time ever. And now we're back for part two. This is
awesome.
the sequel.
The follow-up.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the Chinese democracy of follow-up interviews. That night you played Ivory Blacks in Glasgow, which is like 300 capacity, something like that. Now we're like 11 years later, SWG3, like was 1200 or something like that. It's like the kind of magnitude of that is crazy. Like how does it feel about kind of touring venues of this size now? How's it actually been playing those like huge venues?
Oh, it's been great. This has definitely been feels like the best tour we've ever done in terms of numbers, in terms of like crowd enthusiasm. It feels like things have moved on quite a lot, because when you saw us back then, and to be fair, even 5 years ago, we were very much a chin strokey band. Like people would stand there, they would watch, and they'd like nerd out and not move. Whereas I know there's a whole new audience that are coming out now of younger people who aren't there to chin stroke. They're doing spontaneous walls of deaths and circle pits. And
Nice.
We're as shocked as everyone else. It's like we thought we were sedate proggers, but it turns out we're now a metal band. But that's great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Obviously, your new release came out last year. You reviewed it for the site. Absolutely loved the album. And I mean, like, I haven't seen any kind of real kind of criticism of the album or real kind of negative press on it. You must be really pleased with the kind of response you've had from people checking out the album. Yeah,
we couldn't have asked for a better response, to be honest. It's all been very, very positive. And I think, well, I guess you never really know how it's going to go. And it's basically definitely exceeded all expectations.
Yeah. Good. Well, obviously with this one you went a bit more kind of like prog length, I suppose, with this one compared to the previous album. Was that something that you planned going into this one, or was it just kind of like you had a bit more kind of time with this one? How did it kind of become more kind of long form, I suppose?
I think there was a lot more time put into this record. I think the pandemic strangely helped, because that bought us some time.
Yeah.
And all the other records prior to this one have always had to meet deadlines, and were, especially Sonder, the previous one, we felt was very rushed, and not everyone was entirely happy with the result. Whereas we had all the time in the world to get this one right, and I think the result is that there was a lot more experimentation and different things could be tried out, and then we had songs like War of Being, which is 11 minutes long, and there was no intention to make a long song, but that's just how it turned out. But in terms of releases, we decided, we haven't released a new song in 5 years, let's go out with a massive epic piece of work, which is kind of what people liked us for in the first place.
Was there any kind of like apprehension on that, because it's quite a kind of bold move as like a first single, or was it just like this is the one?
I think we're just like, this is the one, let's do something different. Nobody's putting out an 11-minute single, but we're going to do it.
It was awesome. The thing I loved about it though, the visuals, like that video that came with it was incredible. And obviously the video released after that as well. What kind of went into that? Because was it a big team that was involved for that kind of side of things?
Yeah, the video thing was a huge project. It actually cost as much as the entire album recorded
Really?
cost to record. The main sort of, I guess, film direction, I suppose, I'm probably getting that wrong, but was Richard Oakes, Dark Fable Media, and we've worked with him for many years on lots of our previous videos. And then there's like a whole kind of CGI team involved, and I don't, not kind of what they were called, which is a bit rubbish of me, but it was a while ago. And Amos was very heavily involved in it as well.
Yeah.
And I remember we shot the band parts in January, and the video was literally finished. I think it was like, I don't know, about 2 weeks before the single came out.
Right.
Was it July? Anyway, it took a long time to make it.
Yeah.
And but I think it was worth it, because I think it made a big impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible. It's like very cinematic, very movie-like. Yeah. Awesome. You're obviously with this new one as well, recorded slightly differently compared to normal, you guys, with kind of live drums in the studio and stuff. How did that come about? What was the decision to go down that route for this album?
I think it's what we've always wanted to do.
Was it?
I mean, everything being done in home studios and DIY isn't ideal, but Ackles just was so good at doing it on his own. It was a massive cost saver. Like, studios are expensive. Recording drums is very difficult and time consuming. So previously, just using program drums that Ackle has the ability to make sound excellent was just like the most viable option. Whereas now, again, a lot of time was put into writing the record, and so it felt right to go all out and record it how we really wanted it to be recorded.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that'd be something that you'll kind of try and do in the future as well?
100%, yeah.
Yeah. I thought the actual sound of the album was incredible. You had some kind of external help in as well. A producer, was it Peter? Also
Pete Miles, yeah. And also there's a vocal producer called Kat Marsh.
Oh, right, cool.
She runs a choir called Choir Noir, who they work with like Bring Me the Horizon and Architects, people like that.
Oh, nice.
But she goes back quite a way, working with Dan and Ackle actually to a degree, like on various other projects.
Right.
So her and Dan worked together very well. She brought a lot of Dan's performance out on him, and made him, basically drilled him, made him work, and they were an excellent vocal team together. And then Pete Miles definitely had like an overall kind of producer hat on, where he'd sort of help out with arrangements or make suggestions, and again push people when they need to be pushed a bit more. Or I think there was one section which was, I can't remember the song now, but Jay's drum part was basically just him messing around, and Pete recorded it without Jay knowing. And then when Jay came in saying, "I've got some ideas, I'll go and record it," and Pete said, "You've done it," and then he played it back, and things like that. Yeah. And also, War of Being originally was 13 minutes long, but Pete cut it down to 11.
Right.
And so he was just like, it's too much of that. Get rid of that fluff. Just somebody being a bit brutal with an outside perspective, which I think bringing in those two really helped take the album up that extra notch from where it has been when we've been fully sort of DIY. Yeah,
more focused, definitely. Especially vocally, I thought vocally the album was incredible. Dan's performance, to be honest, like technically he is always like practically flawless on the albums, but for this one I thought you could definitely feel more of a kind of emotion coming through on the album. But would you kind of attribute that to the kind of outside help kind of pushing them to go a bit deeper on this one, do you think?
I think definitely that, but also I think Dan as well he's set his standards very high, and he's been working very, very hard to develop his voice, to train, to basically expand his range of abilities, and so I think all these things have come together to make it definitely, I believe, the best thing Tesseract's done. Yeah, for sure. So obviously having songs that are like 11 minutes and stuff, how does that work when it comes to then creating a set for like a tour like this? Is it difficult to then say, all right, we need to cut like 2 songs out to fit that kind of one song in, or how did the set kind of come about for this? Well, no, we're now playing an hour and 20 minutes, so...
All right, okay, a little bit extra time.
We can cram quite a lot in there.
Right, okay. And does it kind of stay the same for the whole tour, the set?
Yeah.
Just because of the kind of technical stuff that goes in the background. Just got to keep it the same for.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, there's just like one. As soon as you push go on the laptop,
right.
There's nothing you can do. You just have to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mind interruption.
Nice. So obviously you're right at the kind of end of this kind of UK run, and then you've got like India, Australia, Asia coming up as well in April into May. That must be exciting because have you guys been to Asia before? Is that a new kind of territory for you?
Yeah, the Southeast Asia stuff is definitely new. We've done India a bunch of times and we've done Australia a few times, but everything else after India is totally new, so that's very exciting.
Nice. Yeah. Anywhere in particular looking forward to kind of hitting?
I mean, everywhere I've not been, which is most of it actually. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to. We've got 2 days in Tokyo, which is going to be crazy.
Nice.
Definitely want to explore there. Then there's Singapore and Taiwan, and what are the other two? Oh yeah, Hong Kong and Bangkok, Thailand. So
amazing.
I think it's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And it's definitely going to be quite hard work and challenging, but it's good to get to these places and play to absolutely anyone that wants to hear it. And if people there want to hear us, then we need to go there.
Yeah, absolutely. After that, obviously, kind of going into the summer, you've been announced for Radar
Festival,
as well. That would be pretty cool. What's the kind of second half of the year like for Tesseract? Do you got much planned at the moment, or still in the works? Or
it's a bit up in the air at the moment. I think Radar's the only festival we're doing. We're having a summer off festivals because we're touring quite hard at the moment.
Okay.
There's going to be another sort of short run in September, I believe, that's not yet announced. But other than that, it's fairly clear, and I think we're all hoping that we basically don't do too much then, and because it would have been quite a ruthless year.
Yeah.
You can never tell. You never know what's offered and if it's worth doing. Just do it. So.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, James. Thanks so much for taking the time. Much appreciated. We'll look forward to seeing you tonight in Glasgow, and
awesome.
Good luck with the rest of the tour.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.